Santorum said something that I did not like with regard to being a Reagan conservative. This is what Rush was talking about. They're criticizing him for being a big government conservative. And Rush said, I'm okay with him being a big government conservative. Well, Michael Berry, I am not. And this is where I lean more to the libertarian side. But I want you to hear Santorum use the term libertarian. I do not like this statement. You got me turned up?
People who call me a big government guy are libertarians, and that's fine. If you want to be a libertarian and you don't believe in really any size or structure of government to speak of, that's fine. That's not, in my opinion, the founding principles of our country. That's not how our Constitution was laid out. The government does, in fact, have certain powers and obligations. For example, national security, and it's not just building a wall around America and trying to defend us from attack and keeping everything here. So there is a difference. And so I defend myself in saying I am a Reagan conservative.
Here's the problem. That anti-libertarian notion, that idea that, hey, we got to defend ourselves, even libertarians will tell you, yeah, we know we have to defend ourselves. We don't think we need to have troops stationed in whatever it is, 120 countries. That's not helping to defend me. Just because we need to do X does not mean we need to do X to the 19th power. That's what liberals say, for the love of God. That's what liberals say when you say, hey, we don't really need 1 out of every 7 people to be on food stamps. And they come back and say, you want people to starve. No, I'm not opposed to food stamps for people that are starving. But 1 in 7 Americans is not starving. We're sending this is just one more welfare payment we're sending to people, and they're going to the street corner and selling it to a taco truck operator. He's going to the grocery store and getting his goods. He paid them 60 cents on the dollar for their food stamps. He goes and buys his supplies for that. So he paid 60 cents on the dollar for his supplies. This is not right. But if we oppose it, the liberals come back with, you want people to starve. No, we don't want people to starve. We don't want to waste money. We don't want to take money out of working class people's pockets so that we can subsidize taco truck operators in the name of keeping people from starving when that ain't what's happening. And now we got Santorum doing exactly the same thing. Oh, well, you don't want to expand the military to take up 98% of our gross domestic product? Don't you understand we have to protect ourselves? You don't want us to protect ourselves? Yeah, I want to protect ourselves. I don't want to go into countries where we don't need to be. I don't want to expand our presence there. I don't want to occupy countries. I don't want to get into nation building in countries that, frankly, are not worth it. You got a whole country full of illiterates that just want to kill each other. I don't think we need to be their police force for 10 years. No, I don't. And that doesn't mean I want my country overrun. Frankly, the Iraqis were never going to overrun us, and neither were the Afghans. Oh, but Michael, we were searching down Osama bin Laden. Great. He was in Pakistan the whole time, or a good portion of the time. And in fact, he was in Pakistan hiding right next door to their West Point. So either they didn't know, which it's inconceivable they didn't know, or they knew. And if they knew, why are we continuing to give them $3 billion a year? Is that making me safer? We're giving $3 billion a year to a country that was hiding the guy that cost us $3,000 to chase down, 3,000 American soldiers and trillions of dollars to chase down. Just because we need to defend ourselves does not mean we need to break the budget and act like fools and that anybody who opposes it doesn't want to keep our country safe. Damn it! If you want to keep our country safe, then stop these illegal aliens from coming in here from Mexico. You know how Afghans are getting into this country to kill Americans? Through the Mexican border. So why don't we stop fighting them in the Khyber Pass and start fighting them in Brownsville? Oh, we don't want to do that, do we? Because there's this odd, weird, wicked strain of neocon that says send troops to Afghanistan to protect the American people, but don't send troops to Reynosa and McAllen to protect us here where we're actually being attacked. I don't worry about the Taliban coming and killing my kid. I do worry about some illegal alien breaking in the window tonight. So if that's your concern, Mr. neocon conservative, big government conservative, then do something about that. And Rick Santorum should not be saying these things about libertarians. The Republican Party has an unhealthy distrust and dislike of libertarians, just like it does toward the Tea Party. And that kind of nonsense is what costs elections. Listen to the dismissing of libertarians.
The people who call me a big government guy are libertarians, and that's fine. If you want to be a libertarian and you don't believe in really any size or structure of government to speak of, that's fine.
That's not what libertarians believe, and you damn well know it. That is not what libertarians believe, and you know it. And let me tell you this. The Republican Party loses elections when libertarians stay home. And you go out and ask all these people that are now calling themselves independent. You know more Americans consider themselves independent than Republican or Democrat? And do you know who's lost in that deal? People identifying themselves as Republican has gone down and down and down. People calling themselves independent has gone up and up and up. You know why? Because libertarians don't want to call themselves Republicans. Because people that are the old school Republican, people that lean away from the government telling you what to do, recognize that a lot of Republicans want to tell you what to do, and they don't want to be part of it. And now you're forcing people into this Hobbesian choice. Do I vote for the liberal Democrats who want to control my life? Or do I vote for the conservative Republicans who want to control my life, when what I really want is to be left the hell alone from government? And Santorum is saying, I'm going to make this decision very difficult for you, instead of saying, hey, we agree on most of our issues.
The people who call me a big government guy are libertarians, and that's fine. If you want to be a libertarian and you don't believe in really any size or structure of government to speak of, that's fine. That's not, in my opinion, the founding principles of our country. That's not how our Constitution was laid out.
Then you don't understand how our founding principles were articulated. And you don't understand that these are people who wanted government out of their lives. These are not people who wrote a constitution to empower government. These are people who wrote limitations on a necessary evil they called government, and the distinction is critical, and you don't understand that. That's the problem. That's why the Republican Party loses elections, because the Republican Party has been hijacked by big government conservatives, Karl Rove conservatives, who run around worried about gays and who run around wanting to control your life, and they leave people who should be voting Republican out of the process, and they ridicule them, and they've left the working class American out, the populist Tea Party American. That's why Rove and that crowd attacks the Tea Party. They don't want the masses to have any input. So you got all these people who see the Jesse Jacksons and Al Sharptons and Harry Reids and ACLU and NAMBLA and these environmental whacks, and they go, whoa, I'm not a Democrat. Those people are crazy. Let me go over here and help the Republicans. And they go over to the Republicans, and the Republican goes, no. You just vote for us. You don't bother us in between, okay? We just want your vote. And by the way, once you vote for us, we're going to invade every country in the world and your living room. Wait a minute, you're just as bad as the Democrats. You're just as bad as the Democrats. And that's where every time you've talked, particularly to older voters, actually the two groups are really young voters. That's why Ron Paul does so well with really young voters. Interesting. Oldest candidate, youngest voters, and really old voters. And y'all can make fun of the Paul bots because they're crazy in their behavior, but you know what they are? They're people who want to be left alone. And that is a distinctly patriotic American notion. Government, leave me alone. Don't tread on me.
They talked about me on the radio. I matter.
The Michael Berry Show.